I recently explored what's arguably the priciest patch of agricultural land out there, a vineyard in Burgundy under the ownership of Domaine de la Romanée-Conti. I was drawn to this location due to the looming possibility that its current worth of approximately 2.3 billion euros might plummet soon. Alarmingly, it isn't just this vineyard at risk. The valuation of many vineyards in this vicinity and a significant portion of European farmlands, and indeed globally, might be affected. This impending transformation in agriculture is intriguing. There are several factors determining the suitability of land for a particular crop, from temperature, moisture levels, and sunlight exposure to soil composition, slope inclination, and even wind patterns. All these elements converge to forge the ideal environments for various crops, notably for wine. However, these conditions are evolving. Since 1988, Burgundy's wine harvesting time has advanced by roughly 2 weeks. This means grapes mature faster. And while this has resulted in some excellent Burgundy wines recently, the escalating temperatures might soon compromise the quality. Some regions in Burgundy have even seen the optimal zones for viticulture climbing uphill, predicting a different landscape by 2050. The entirety of France's wine-producing locales, including Bordeaux, might soon grapple with diminishing potential for viticulture, likely nearing the thermal thresholds for cultivating red grapes. While Burgundy might dodge the gravest outcomes for now, it's uncertain when these escalating temperatures will plateau, or when they could jeopardize wine quality altogether. So, if France isn't the future epicenter of world-class wines, then where? The answer might be unexpected. Consider Champagne. The mineral undertones in Champagne arise from the chalky limestone terrain in France's Champagne region. So, can this be mimicked elsewhere? Interestingly, southern England possesses similar chalky soils, yet its historically cooler climate restricted the cultivation of premier grape variants like Chardonnay or Pinot Noir. Instead, they settled for lesser-known grapes that yielded subpar wine. However, emerging climatic conditions now permit them to nurture grape varieties previously deemed unsuitable. They've begun producing bubbly wines paralleling Champagne's production standards and ingredients. In a twist of fate, some Champagne-based vintners are even establishing vineyards in England. The notion of England producing wines of such caliber is astounding, which segues into the focus of this video: Bright Cellars, our esteemed sponsor. Acquiring their sponsorship was no easy feat, and here's why it's special. Bright Cellars is a personalized wine subscription, curating selections for your unique palate. With a brief 7-question survey, they gauge your preferences. Alongside your wine shipment, they include informative cards, elucidating optimal wine pairings and serving temperatures. Bright Cellars presents a fantastic opportunity to explore diverse and intriguing wines from around the globe. The convenience of having wines delivered right to your doorstep eliminates the hassle of wandering through liquor stores, making choices based on just labels. Impressively, Bright Cellars is extending an exclusive offer to you, a whopping 50% discount on your inaugural box of 6 bottles. Not to mention, their eco-friendly plastic-free packaging boasts the smallest carbon footprint in the sector. So, to sample exquisite wines from renowned regions, click the link below. A big thank you to Bright Cellars for their sponsorship. Now, it's startling to note that southern England's current viticultural conditions mirror those of the Champagne region in the 1980s. This shift is undeniably a result of climate change. As temperatures rise, the prime zones for certain wines migrate northward. This delicate balance was evident in winter 2021, when Burgundy vineyards were dotted with paraffin heaters to prevent vine frost damage. This exemplifies the lengths farmers are willing to go to in preserving their legacy. Unfortunately, frost still claimed roughly a third of the 2021 crop. yielding only about 99.7 million liters compared to the usual 145 million liters. Wine grapes, along with plants like coffee shrubs, are seen as indicators of climate change's impact. This suggests that over the next few decades, preferred wine regions will shift further north, shrinking the existing vineyard land by around 25. Moreover, various other crops will likely confront analogous challenges. Significant alterations in weather and climate patterns are already impacting both crop and livestock yields throughout Europe. In certain southern European areas, agricultural land values might plummet by over 80 come 2100. This potential decline could force numerous farmers to relinquish farming entirely. This is consequential, given that Europe is responsible for producing 1/8 of the global grain, 2/3 of wine, and 3/4 of olive oil. Such climate changes pose considerable challenges for European farms, shaking up traditional agricultural norms that have stood for ages. For instance, since the 1960s, rainfall in Northern Europe has increased by up to 70 millimeters each decade, while southern regions are getting 90 millimeters less. The Mediterranean and Southeast Europe stand out as particularly vulnerable due to diminishing rainfall coupled with escalating temperatures. This combo has led to prolonged droughts and intensified water shortages. Over 22 million European farmers and farm laborers find themselves directly in the crosshairs of these climatic shifts. But the challenges don't end there. Climate change is also ushering in ideal environments for invasive threats like the bacterium, which, pardon any pronunciation mishap, is known as Xylella fastidiosa. This minuscule adversary has already plagued more than 20 million olive trees, resulting in damages surpassing $1.2 billion. Numerous reports indicate that this bacterium, initially entering Italy in 2008 via a coffee plant, later adapted to afflict olive trees, especially in Apulia's southern regions, where it decimated millions. Moreover, this bacterium poses threats to other vital crops, including grapes and citrus fruits. Due to escalating temperatures, there's a growing concern that areas conducive for disease-carrying insects could significantly expand, threatening European agricultural integrity. However, an even more pressing concern looms. Traditional commodities, like the beef from Galicia in Spain, or the tomatoes from Pomodoro di Partino in Italy, please excuse any mispronunciations, are recognized for their distinct origin and cultivation processes. If these locales become unsuitable for producing these renowned products, there would be a need to revamp production methods. Such changes might drastically transform Europe's culinary heritage and economic landscape. In dire situations, these regions might be rendered incapable of producing these specialties at all. This underscores the complexities in seamlessly transitioning European agriculture in the face of climate change. A visionary strategy will be imperative, one that safeguards indigenous food traditions while integrating advanced technologies. While I'm not suggesting coffee or wine will vanish entirely, some wines, currently at their peak, might face quality degradation if the warming climate continually impacts their flavor profiles. Current remedies to these challenges are far from ideal. For instance, while some American wineries introduce sugar to maintain a balanced acidity, an approach that would be unfathomable in places like Burgundy, where age-old techniques are revered. Burgundy is trialing hardier grape variants that can withstand drought and intense heat. The trade-off, however, is a change in taste. Furthermore, Burgundy winemakers are gradually drifting away from practices like oak barrel aging. Since the grapes are now naturally more robust, they might also look to reintroduce ancient grape varieties that once took extended durations to mature. In the long term, the evolving climate could make a future glass of Burgundy lose its distinctive taste, which is concerning given France's stature as one of the global leaders in wine production. In 2015, France exported 5 billion liters of wine, trailing only Italy. With millennia of winemaking heritage, it's a daunting future for France. However, France isn't alone in this challenge. Italy's Emilia-Romagna wine region, excuse the possible mispronunciation, has also been experiencing shifts in temperature, altering growth seasons and other significant patterns over the last 6 decades. Nations like Australia, Chile, and South Africa anticipate reductions in optimal wine-producing areas. But countries like Chile and Australia might discover new prospects, such as Tasmania for Australia. This expansion, though, comes with environmental implications. New vineyards can diminish environmental variety, bring in pesticides, and strain local ecosystems. Additionally, these vineyards could pose threats to vulnerable species, including pandas. Oddly enough, and as a brief detour, China is venturing into winemaking. In 2013, a French sparkling wine producer set up shop in China's Ningxia region and has since been catering to China's burgeoning wine enthusiasts. It might seem odd, Chinese produce sparkling wine, but let's continue. In established wine regions, vineyards might now pose increased environmental risks. Rising temperatures can dry out soil, prompting farmers to adopt irrigation methods to maintain grape health. Notably, other wine territories globally, such as Australia, South Africa, and France's Bordeaux, are grappling with devastating wildfires. For the time being, the warmer conditions have favored Burgundy. Yet, pondering the future, how will Burgundy, along with France's numerous other wine regions and Europe's broader agriculture, adjust to a hotter climate? Only time can provide that answer. With that said, I conclude this segment. Appreciate your time, and I'll catch you in the upcoming content.